Hello, I'm Patricia McNeely from Twin Flame Body and Twin Flame Reconnection. How are you today? Today I want to talk to you about these really deep energies here in October. So I'm going to just throw out a couple of questions. What goals have you accomplished over the past decade? That's like a deep one, right? What have we all accomplished? Okay. There's a lot of things that have been set in motion that now are expected to be put into physical form, but only with the help of people who have been trying to manifest it. So that's something that is not really understood that I want to clarify on is that, people kind of get very expectant and they get disappointed. And they get so gravely disappointed that they feel everything is hopeless. But change doesn't happen overnight, nor were some of the issues that are being addressed, did they happen overnight? As they say, Rome was not built in a day. And no, the Roman Empire, it took decades, actually a couple hundred years to actually go into decline. The decline and fall of the Roman Empire is very, very well documented. But this has happened repeatedly throughout history. We are in a time where this is a new beginning. And so I want to give you the overall picture and talk a little bit about how does this pertain to your life, because you needed to apply it to your life. Okay. So first thing I'm going to talk about is that we are in plunge time. That means that your emotional foundation is going to get shook. You are going to find that you are having emotions that might be unidentifiable. You might not understand why you are feeling certain things. And furthermore, you may not know what to do about it. I do, and I'm here to help with that. So when you get plunged down, this happens particularly around new moons. We have another one coming up. If you are at a certain point in your vibration, you're going to be feeling it ahead of time. In fact, this is creating a lot of changes. It is push. It is a plungy, pushy energy. It can make you feel submerged. Now, the good news is there are people like me that know how to do that deep diving with you to extract, excavate, do some of the things that need to get done that other people are a little bit too hesitant or fluffy to do that. Or they may not know. They may not be able to sense some of the things. So one of the things that this energy is bringing is distinct changes to female bodies. Both it will be felt as good and it may be felt as bad if you don't get a handle on exactly what is it, what's going on, how do we handle this, how is it. Now, what I want to let you know is some of these things, as I talk about changes, this sends people running to their medical providers, which they should check that out. I will never, ever, and I never understand people that will say, oh, hey, the medical community doesn't get it. They're not trained to get your ascension. In fact, you are not trained to get your ascension. You're experiencing it. You prepared for it by being here. But some of this stuff is something that you have to do step by step, which leads me to some of the other things that I'm going to talk about here. That it is time to face some truth, that it's time for change. Now, this is worldwide, but where it has to change is in your families. It has to change. Actually, let me back that up. You have to change you. And that transformation has a lot to do with your brand new template. Yes, that is the opportunity here. So while some of you may have thought it was about chasing somebody who, is another person, it actually has to be you seeking you. And that may sound really philosophical, but it's you focusing on you and addressing each thing as it comes up, not ignoring it, not sweeping it under the rug, because there's nowhere to sweep this stuff under the rug anymore. You can't ignore or deny that there are things happening. And the things are happening to men too. If a man has a female as his twin flame, he's going to feel stuff. If a female has a male as a twin flame, she's going to feel stuff. You cannot help but feel things. And depending what you're attached to, you might find that there's some rationalization there, but no amount of rationale is going to transform you. What actually transforms you is doing body work and getting parts of you opened up. Now, that leads to some of the stuff as to what have you lost throughout history, because everybody has somehow contributed and sometimes has, withered on the vine and lost hope, and this has had a big effect. So as there's time for change, some of the biggies have already happened, such as I'm going to just lay it out there, nuclear arms, okay? There's been a lot of disarmament. It's not a fully complete thing. And this is one of the things about the nature of living here, is some people have this thing inside of them where it's never enough. Never enough. They're never satisfied. It's never good enough. They want more. And that kind of stuff is simmering down. In fact, the person experiencing that will be forgetful, because they're not supposed to live in delusions of grandeur. They're supposed to be and expand who they came here to be. So things that pertain to this, such as guns, drugs, relationships, even relationships with ourselves and other people, suicide and what surrounds that, and homicide and what surrounds that, and a lot of what we're seeing, pack mentalities, okay? This happens. The reality is that if there is a certain group of people, they will tend to close ranks and be together to be against other people, okay? Now, if you have that within certain segments of society, it's getting dangerous. It has been dangerous for a long time. Or it can be gender related. If you get a whole pack of women and a man goes by, they may be very vitriolic and cutting and sarcastic or biting. Okay, there's more than one way people put the dagger to other people. People put daggers with their eyes and all kinds of things. We have to stop using our bodies as weapons and start using them again as the vessels for divine energy and love that we truly are capable of. What other pack mentalities? Well, you have like people that resort to wolf pack type of mentalities. Those are pack mentalities, mob mentalities. And while this has sometimes been necessary to pick up arms and defend, and we're not perpetuating it. So just to mention, a lot of people have asked me, how are things here in the city where I live? And what I can genuinely say is people that are genuine and have their heart in the right place are being positive and going forward with positive things that they want to do. They're joining charities, they're contributing to charities, they're going to set up something, they're being productive. People that are not are roaming in mobs and just being vandals, okay? And it's not a lot of people, but it's making other people look bad. And it's not just one group of people. So again, a few bad apples are spoiling things for a lot of people, okay? It's time for us to fix this and get things to the level and be inclusive and start including everyone in this. Because I'll be straight up, when I first started doing twin flame videos, I was looking around saying, where are the people of African descent? Where are they? Who's representing them? I welcomed people. I welcome the diversity. Now that everything is hitting, people are able to talk to their own people, because there are sometimes cultural differences where you want someone that gets you, that helps you understand it. I'm here to teach those people and you and other people how to do this through the body. Even knowing that maybe your grandma planted some stuff in your head that maybe applied in her time, but doesn't apply anymore. We all have to stop being afraid of each other. So, these things, how are these things getting through? How are these things getting through? Some of the drugs and medications and pharmaceuticals we use just in my country, they don't even grow here. How does it get through? Through networks, through smuggling, through all kinds of stuff. So these are sometimes the mentalities that need to change so that there's a proper avenue. Meaning, we're not talking about street stuff, we're talking about proper use of stuff and not abuse. And this happens at all levels in every sector. So, how do these energies help? So, we have Earth here, and just this year, we have several retrogrades that are all pressing in on this particular time so that there's several things that all coincide. Now, this can be overwhelming for people, so stick with me here, okay? We have had a Pluto retrograde. What this was bringing back is a lot of energies from what we call World War II and is called the Great War. There's been 2 great wars. In fact, the continent of Africa has also had its own great war involving 38 countries. And that's not widely known because it's not really taught out there in world history. But the blood is under there. The blood's been in Europe. The blood is with the people in the United States. We've all shed each other blood. We've mingled our blood. We've mingled our sexual energies all over the world. Okay? That's a part of the disentangling. And so the things that have happened, this is taking us back to decisions. What decisions were made at the time, good or bad, that we all now have had to live with? What has needed reparation? What has needed guidance on it, right? Have we had the best leadership? Maybe, maybe not. If you're in England and you're part of that generation that grew up during these times, you might remember some of the bombings at the hands of some of your fellow now European Union members, okay? So you have the European Union and you decided to break away and we have Brexit and you're like, hell no, I'm not going to pull up everybody else's economy. We're strong. We did all this stuff here, right? But what are those decisions and do you have dissension because of it? Okay. These are hard decisions that happen down here, not because people want to be mean to each other, but because people feel. They feel. And you have had another one, the Mars, which has to do with violence, sexual violence, corruptions, and that has to do with structure. So the positive changes that are coming in have to do with restructuring things, restructuring governments or setting up different tax structures, all these kind of things. And now, before some of you go and you say, oh, hell, I want to get off this grid now. I want to get out of the matrix. No, you can't get out unless you use your body. So therefore, pay attention because the only way you're getting out of the old structure is through what? Through your brand new template, your brand new blueprint, opening up and activating your diamond DNA, getting your heart chakra opened, and really doing this, okay? And being multidimensional about it. That sounds like a lot, right? What about this? How many people have experienced that someone is taking out their frustrations on them? That's on the mild side. Just imagine trying to be displaced during a war and getting back to your home. Who do you encounter on the road? Okay, so there's a lot of people with some deep damage in their past that now have to heal this and make it as easy as possible. Saturn is about time, okay? You're going to feel aspects of time. The higher your vibe is, you're going to feel aspects of time changing. It's just a given. And you're going to feel it especially at particular times of the year. Time is too slow, things are too laggy, things are bogged down, there's a bog down in the paperwork, and then suddenly, like Scorpio, it springs forward and you're able to have the doors just fling open. How does that happen? Well, it is a part of this energy and it's the return of stuff. Return of things that are part of your energies, part of what is an integral part of you. It is stuff like your own resources. It could be things that you did and were skilled at in another life. It's about resolving relationships or coming up with solutions and new structure. So these two go together. Once we move the rough stuff out of the place, structure and structure, they go together, which brings us to the Uranus. This is slow it down and make positive changes. In other words, don't go off half-cocked. Don't go off. Be a part of the new generation of twin flames who is able to pause and structure things properly, to actually take it and make it viable for as many people as possible. Okay? The way that I did. I mean, it took me a good number of years to actually create my modality and yet make it so user-friendly. Honestly, I have people that wait for the shoe to drop, or, you know, and I have to tell them, don't expect the shoe to drop. Let's keep moving forward. Don't look back. Don't look down. Okay, do you really want to go down there where all the crap is, or do you want to live at an entirely new level? Be a part of the new generation of twin flames that can actually live at a new level. Because people that aren't catching on are just going to continue being tumbled about in the washing machine. I know it already because I'm hearing it from people, and they think that there's dark forces. They're actually, it's not as scary as you think, but unless you get up, it's scary to be in there being tumbled about. Get with what is here, which is new structure. New structure is your brand new template that is a part of you that is here to support you and expand you, okay? That means health and vitality. This is for things that maybe you thought you would never do, like getting sober, finally, and not feeling like you're white-knuckling it and being on the edge just because people around are having a drink, or maybe it's smoking and you think, I'm never going to. You have to remember that you have to detox certain things. It's a given. The only way through it is to go through it. And yeah, it is rough. And yeah, it ain't fun. But it is worth it because you're worth it. What about the next thing? This Neptune retrograde, okay? This is imperialism and civil wars. In my country, one of our bloodiest battles has been against each other. And there have been people that were a part of it that got nothing out of it until finally years later. And not to mention, okay, let's be straight up, women. We tried to pass the ERA amendment since the 1970s, which would have ended a lot of discrimination and made it illegal. But that deadline came and went. So what is going to replace it? Who is going to get that into place? And again, structure. Without proper structure, you cannot. So all of these things coming down to the earth, these are a part of how we live. This is a part of doing the off-planet healing and bringing down positive stuff to earth. I assist with that. And you have to include other things. Now, I'm going to say one other thing here because there's a lot of things and I'm not living in a bubble. I live in an urban environment. There are a lot of people. I don't know why people pay attention to unemployment because I've seen things busier now than before the pandemic. I've seen all kinds of businesses. Yes, there are businesses that are closing. And it personally makes me sad. I don't want to see people go out. I don't want to see people go under. But this is a time of reinvention. It's a time of finding you. It's a time of restructure and integration of your brand new light body, the spirit body, the etheric body, and all of your new chakra connections that other people don't even know about. That's the part that gets me is sometimes I sit with family or friends or I hear people or I overhear conversations and people are afraid. They don't have some of the awareness that we have. You were woken up on purpose so that you can be some of that change that needs to happen in your neck of the woods. So what are some of the things that need to change? Okay, number one, stop finding fear. Number two, avail yourself of the resources that are available. I do have so much good information about things that are of concern for people. Your cycles, your mental health and emotional health, your psyche, which is the part of you that goes so deep, it leads you to passion, it leads you to patriotism. How can we be a patriot and feel a place so well that we're living and we're willing to give our life for it? That has happened in the past. And yes, it's made people bitter in these wars. I just saw a 1950s movie the other day, and in it, there was, the young man, he had been in that part of the war, and his character was talking about how when he came back, and he kept saying, God forgive me, I was raised a Catholic, and this is not, we're admonished not to talk about doing ourselves in, but I wanted to do myself in. And I can relate to that. I've had times on this journey where I've wanted to do myself in. Many of you have had times where you've wanted to throw up your hands, call it a day, and do yourself in, or just exit somehow. And then there's the other part. What have people had to do in wars? Kill each other. Yeah, kill each other. So these things need a deep healing. And that thing that leads us to that we call patriotism, or we love country, it has damaged our lover's heart. This is why I've said many times that it's time to stop being the warrior, or shift it to, where can you apply your energy? Is it, and it doesn't even all have to be volunteer work. It could be a donation. It could be something that you do. Like, something as easy as like contribute a food and like skip a meal. Okay, if you can afford to do that. And one other thing that is so important, vote. Now, I know that there's going to be people that say, oh, well, this is spiritual. I'm sorry, but that's just BS. This whole journey is all about being the change and being someone that can positively contribute. If you're abstaining from that, you're giving a no vote anyway. Who do you want to fire? Okay, get out there and vote. So this is for the United States. When I start having people from other countries concerned about what happens here, it's time. So I'm going to tell you, this has been some of the Chicago way, but it does work as long as you take some things out of it. When I was a kid, Chicago's divided up into 77 neighborhoods, and a lot of cities have neighborhoods. And there is a time frame now where there's not sufficient money for every area to do the proper voting. So right there, what I understand, Facebook contributed some money to that. Okay, that was good. That was a good thing. And what used to happen when I was a kid was someone would volunteer their place or their store or something and let the election judges, who are the people that hand you your ballot, do this. We have structure here, and there's levels. Okay, so the main level in the neighborhood for closest to everyone is either the precinct captain or the alderman. So what that precinct captain used to do is he would be knocking on your door, and if you needed a ride to the polling place, he would get you there and bring you home. This is how a lot of it has happened. Now, what happens with people that aren't, or they're afraid, or maybe they committed a crime and they think they've lost their legal civil right to do this? So do it. Now, I found another surprise. Actually, I was registered for the last election. I decided to check it out. How I got to be unregistered as a registered voter is beyond me, but I made sure I registered so that I can vote. Okay, make sure you're registered. find out how, and vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, okay? But make your decision to do it, because there is more at stake than you may realize. It's not just one leader, okay? There's stuff about taxes. There's stuff about the judges who are judging you in your area or judging other people. There's the legality of things. There's the people that you help to get there and to help make some of these positive changes. Okay, so if we talk about, what does that mean? Programs. Who do you want in that position so that they can do it? Who do you want to vote on funding for other programs? Who do you want to help with some of the grants or government help? Okay, because the help takes different forms to be able to help right here at this level. A lot of people are upset about like programs and things like that, but I help people get their abundance so that you get up and running. The abundance is here. The resources are here on this planet. Everything has opened sufficiently where there doesn't really have to be the deprivation level that sometimes is seen, okay? And yeah, I grew up in a neighborhood. A lot of people moved because of the violence, including a lot of people that were already living there. We had to, Terror is terror, no matter where you live. Who wants to live with that? People in the neighborhoods don't want to live with that, and nor should they. And it amounts to child abuse. So please do it. If you have questions, I'm going to have some links below. Some other good news is that some of the programs for feeding kids has been extended, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, here in this Northern Hemisphere, I think it's going to be a tough winter. I've been watching the animals, and they were stocking up since July. So what does that tell you? It means start getting your ducks in a row. And if you know people that need help, don't get critical, get helpful. And, we are all in this together. If you need help, please join one of my classes where I am including a one-on-one coaching session with you, either with me and my practitioners, and one-on-one sessions. I have so many things to help you. And check out my website at twinflamebody.com or twinflamereconnection.com, because we've got things to do and time to, get it going. As they said with that one song, how you going to do it if you don't want to dance? By standing on the wall. Get your back up off the wall. That's by Kool and the Gang. Get down on it. Get down on it. There's a lot of wisdom in songs. And then I turned on the radio and I heard two really pertinent songs. This one is by Rod Stewart. And whatever road you choose, I'm right behind you, win or lose, forever young. See, it makes me want to cry just singing it. Then right after that, I heard Peter Gabriel. And all my instincts, they return, and the grand facade so soon will burn. Okay, like we're burning off the stuff that, yeah, it was the way it was. But like I said, history, okay, if you look 100 years ago, people barely had protections. Then we had unions. Then we had OSHA here in this country, occupational safety. And, now the pendulum's swinging again. Like, it's up to us to help it balance. So please vote. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Bye.